You know, numbers do not lie, but you can easily lie with numbers to twist a narrative. Don't believe me? Good, you're on the right track. But let's put that to the test using a mogul who goes by the name of Ludwig, who on the 5th of November 2021 revealed to his millions of subscribers that he ran a secret little experiment, one that is a masterclass on how to lie with statistics.
Is success on YouTube mostly luck, or is it mostly skill?
To prove this, Ludwig made a secret YouTube channel from scratch to gain over 1,000 views in the first 24 hours. He would restrict himself from using his own branding, including his own recognizable face and voice.
I'm going to give myself 24 hours to get at least 1,000 views. It's not hundreds of thousands and it's not millions, but I'm limited in what assets I can use. I can't use my own face and I can't use my own voice, but I still think I can get 1,000 views in less than a day.
Ludwig produced a video about how fellow streamer Miskiff's open door policy both led to his success and how it mimicked the sitcom entrance.
The sitcom entrance. When fan-favorite characters walk through one of these three doors, American audiences would go wild. If you replace the studio audience with a Twitch chat, Miskiff is doing the same thing.
While Miskiff was live with approximately 50,000 viewers, Ludwig sent a donation of $50 with the video link attached. Now put aside for now the arguments on the ethics of React streaming, and instead focus on what the video needed to accomplish in order to successfully accomplish its goal. After all, it's easy to buy eyes, while retaining them is a whole other ballgame.
Make sure to subscribe, so I know to keep making
You don't even have other videos, dude. You gave me $50. You know what you're doing. Look, I'll post it once.
Did Ludwig's video achieve its goal and prove that YouTube is a skill-based game? Well, let's look at the numbers to find out. After all, numbers don't lie. When Ludwig revealed to the world his experiment's results, he had gained 11,000 views with exact percentages as to where those views came from. The video earned around 360 hours watched of the 4,000 needed at the time to be monetized, and initially gained 156 subscribers. However, in fairness, this chart only shows people who subscribed via the video itself versus other places such as on the channel page. And when you look at the time of reveal, the channel sat at around 932 subscribers out of the 1,000 needed at the time for monetization. Except, he lied. Those numbers are in fact 100% true, and you can see them all for yourself. Numbers do not lie, but you can easily lie with numbers, both intentionally and not. Pay very close attention to all the numbers, charts, graphs, but especially pay attention to the axis.
And here's how it's doing. Currently, the video is sitting at about 11,000 views. The channel is at about 1,000 subscribers. And you can check right now, this isn't all views from like direct clicking.
Did you spot the lie? In case you didn't, recall that the goal was to prove that YouTube took more skill than luck to succeed in. Ludwig's experiment to prove this was to gain 1,000 views in the first 24 hours of a brand new channel. When he shows the results of the video, he provides the results from a later point in time that showed a far more favorable result. He still accomplished his stated goal in the first hours, but the results sound far more favorable after an exponential increase rather than during the stagnation that followed after the boost from the initial reaction. Had he shown you the results using just the first 24 hours, the experiment may have been called a failure based off of those metrics alone. It is part of the reason why this experiment is a bit of a false equivalency. Gaining 1,000 views in the first 24 hours is an arbitrary and meaningless threshold. The metrics and results that Ludwig shows backs this up, as the YouTube algorithm needed around 3 days to push the video. You can see that within the first couple hours, the video blew past his goal before stagnating for a couple days. During that time, views trickled in hour by hour, teaching the algorithm who the target demographic was. And then, when enough information was gathered, the video blew up exponentially. The hourly view charts to the side are a breakdown of each type of view, and you can see how the algorithm views correlate with the exponential growth that the video received. We have to apply Hanlon's razor here, unlike with how I've been lying to you with statistics this entire time. All I did was simply round numbers down to make them appear smaller, so Ludwig's experiment would seem to be far less impactful, when by all rights many of those numbers should have been rounded up. As I said, Pay very close attention to every statistic given here, as I will lie to you again, but I shan't tell you when. Lying with statistics often involves subtle lies like these to reinforce a point. Some of you may have caught them, but most took it hook, line, and sinker.
1,000,000,000% beneficial. Ludwig made it apparent by farming Miski with a $50 dono.
Before we go further, we have to address the elephant in the room, and that's conflict of interest and bias. Ludwig is a professional streamer and entertainer who wanted to make an entertaining video first and a genuine experiment second. You don't have to take my word for it, as he has admitted to doing as such, albeit in a comment under a video of a small YouTuber, one that claimed to have succeeded despite trying to prove him wrong, and despite the fact that the YouTuber in question ignored the marketing steps altogether. But where he said it isn't the point. The point is that Ludwig profits from viewer donations and has been a React streamer in the past, and as a result potentially profits from this experiment's success. Majority of people will overlook this due to survivorship bias, as Ludwig is proving to them how he has succeeded twice, and due to the fact that one of, if not the largest YouTuber, Mr. Beast, has personally vetted and endorsed the method at the beginning.
Called Jimmy Beast. Wondering how much of YouTube you think is luck versus skill.
It's 99% skill. If you knew what you're doing, you could do that 100%.
Ludwig aimed to make an entertaining video first, and for good reason. When it comes to investigative and educational content, the man who sensationalizes it is the man who gets to reap all of the rewards. If you can compare Ludwig's dry PowerPoint presentation on how to be a streamer that gave solid advice on how to leverage and tailor your content to grow an audience against this experiment, you will see that the former sits at 1.2 million views, while the latter sits at 5.7 million in a shorter time period. Due to this, the experiment used one of the classic lies with statistics, the sample trick. When you look at any scientific study, which this video is presented to you as one of the first things you need to look at is the number of participants. With Ludwig's video, you can with absolute confidence say that his experiment has a 100% success rate. It sounds impressive as long as you don't look at the sample size being of 1, and 1 of 1 is 100% of the time. If Ludwig was performing a proper experiment, he would have set up multiple channels that produce content in the same manner, with half of them receiving the marketing treatment and others not. But that's expensive, you say. You expect Ludwig to pay for that when he spent $600 to make one channel? Yes. Yes, I do expect a millionaire performing an experiment that involves telling aspirants that spending money on direct marketing via donating to millionaires in the hopes of reaping a reward. And yes, I say hopes, as even Ludwig in his very video hopes and prays that his donation succeeds.
All right, I'm grabbing it. Oh, I hope this works. Otherwise, such a waste of $50.
Okay. Wait, it's got $50.
I
Someone
titled it
called you the biggest streamer in the world?
Easy Bait.
How a door made the streamer $1 million.
Okay, he's hooked. He's hooked. He's hooked! Oh! Yes!
By his own admission, luck is a factor in the equation. And if we take a look at the other statistics given by other content creators who have had their content reacted to, you can see mixed results. Now, the law is pretty clear on the reaction issue, and you can have arguments as to the morality and even the effectiveness of reaction content. This is not what the video is about. We can, however, use metrics from both sides, where the pros say that it made some channels.
He has been instrumental with the growth of this channel. I made videos, but he has helped the growth phenomenally. You know, to ignore that would just be wrong of me.
And in the oppositions, where they say that it actively harms the channel.
Okay, and the analysis is basically the video witnessed an 87% decrease in impressions on the day of the re-upload. Okay, and the video also witnessed a 52% decrease in viewers on the day of the re-upload.
Take a look at the way clinical trials are done. They pay hundreds to thousands of participants thousands of dollars each in order to get as many data points as they can. Just by quickly grabbing some sample points from outliers on each side, you can see how the results change from 100% success rate to 66%. It is still way too small of a sample size to be definitive, but it illustrates the point that when you have too small of a sample size, a result of one in either direction will wildly skew the result.
But I really think the opposite can apply. And channels with really good content that are just waiting for an opportunity to show it off can blow up from reacting to it. Not all the time, but sometimes.
Learning how to read data and analytics takes a conscious effort and is not easy, as most people are genuinely weak when it comes to numeracy proficiency. According to the PIAAC, level 3 out of 5 proficiency is an important threshold where the person is able to recognize and work with mathematical relationships, patterns, and proportions expressed in verbal or numerical form, and can interpret and perform basic analysis of data and statistic in text, tables, and graphs. Only 37% of American adults score high enough to reach that level of proficiency, with an average score of 255 out of 500, placing them squarely at level 2. And to my European friends who are about to subscribe and comment below, making fun of Americans, just note that some of you scored worse. Chances are that you've heard the phrase that correlation doesn't equate causation, and with Ludwig's experiment, the post hoc ride applies. Ludwig would have you believe that due to the initial marketing push, the video successfully entered into the algorithm.
The key to all YouTube success is views under this category. That means algorithm views. And 30% of all the views in this video are from the algorithm, 3.5 thousand, which is huge. That's a big number.
Ludwig is correct here that YouTube recommendations is algorithm views. Everyone and their mother has different and conflicting ideas as to how to get into the recommendation, but that's due to there being more than one way to skin a cat. What's important is nailing down a couple principles that Ludwig himself achieved with his experiment.
And all it came down to was good content, good thumbnailing, good titling, and also, admittedly, a smart way to get it in front of people who are interested in this type of content.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so it being good content can be disputed, but if we take a look at it objectively, it was engaging enough for his target audience, who in turn clicked the external link, which is listed in his metrics as direct or unknown and sits at 14% of his total view count. It is the latter where Ludwig has equated correlation with causation. Good content is necessary to succeed on YouTube, but YouTube doesn't care about individual views, but rather watch time.
And this, although it doesn't look that good, 43% viewer retention, it's not that bad. If the line is flat, that means people who figured out what this video is about, and, the people who didn't click out immediately, liked the video. They sat almost all the way through it. Obviously, there's a huge drop-off because a lot of these people watched it with Mizkif and then immediately left.
By linking the video to a streamer, Ludwig has sacrificed view time in exchange for views and subscribers. YouTube genuinely takes a low view time with decent view count to be a poor metric, but it will still trickle views in. And if you look at the charts, you can see this happening, as over on the side, direct and unknown tends to fall down due to people not watching Twitch VODs as much, while suggested videos start to trickle in slowly before the video explodes in search, followed by recommended. The video exploding in search first, unfortunately for Ludwig, forces the question, did the video succeed due to marketing, or was it due to search engine optimization?
Key, by the way, if you guys are ever uploading videos, they'll use whatever the video's file name is for the algorithm in some ways. So basically, like as a keyword finder for the search engine, if you have some of the keywords inside of the file name as you're uploading it, I believe that YouTube will use that information.
It could have been due to the initial marketing that the video was then pushed into search itself, before it gained enough metrics to explode in recommended. The bottom line is, we don't know, and we can't know which case is true due to the sample size of one. There just are not enough metrics to point directly to cause and effect, or at least there wouldn't be if Ludwig didn't poison the results. You've already been shown how Ludwig used the GWiz graph when he cherry-picked the timeline to include statistics from after his experiment finished. But what I didn't tell you is how Ludwig also lied about the context around those statistics. Let's go back to that view chart once again and put some dates on the x-axis. On the 1st of November, Ludwig's experiment released, and shortly after, Mizkif reacts. On the 5th of November, Ludwig announces to the world how the experiment was a success. The question is what happened in between those dates. Ludwig claims that the video was left alone.
It's been about 4 days since I uploaded this video.
But that's a half-truth and a whole lie. For you see, there was a problem that some people had when looking at Ludwig's metrics that are hard to spot unless you've done YouTube yourself. and it lies with where his views came from. If we look at the percentage breakdowns that Ludwig provides, you can see that about a third of all his views came from search and started to pick up around the 3rd of November. It's not uncommon for new channels to grow due to search, and the deeper YouTube analytical charts will tell you exactly what people search to find your content. However, Ludwig doesn't show you these analytics, but we can deduce what made people gain traction here when we learn that he actually promoted the video 3 separate times using his face and voice.
Bit now, but what I did, it's like a video essay on Mizkiff. It's like a really good, I think, pretty well written one.
If you type in the exact video title into YouTube search, chances are high that the first video that will be shown will be the exact video you were looking for. On the 3rd of November, Ludwig appeared as a guest on the Yard podcast, where he didn't just talk about what his experiment was prior to its release, but he also gave the exact title and premises for people to find the video.
It's basically like how a door made the streamer $1 million is the title, because I think most of his success comes from like his open door policy. And then it's like 3 minutes, and I just donated to him, and then he watched it like on a random account.
The podcast was released on Spotify and Apple on the 3rd of November, and again on YouTube on the 5th of November, right before Ludwig exposed his results to the world. If we go back to the bar charts and the view graph, we can see that the bulk of the search views came directly following this podcast's release. Once his video did well in search, then it got picked up by recommendation within hours.
That's everything I wanted. All right, now the question is, will people on chat click on it? Oh! Holy shit, no, look at the likes. 225 likes. The goal was 1,000 views. We're already at 260.
YouTube cares about watch time, and the people who watch the whole video live on Mizkiff's stream would then click on the video to like and subscribe before clicking off. YouTube has absolutely no clue that these initial 52,000 viewers actually watched the whole video live on Twitch. The only metrics that they can see is that the viewer came from Twitch, from a direct blink, and then left within the first 30 seconds.
And this, although it doesn't look that good, 43% viewer retention, it's not that bad. If the line is flat, that means people who figured out what this video is about, and, you know, the people who didn't click out immediately, liked the video. They sat almost all the way through it. Obviously, there's a huge drop-off because a lot of these people watched it with Mizkiff and then immediately left.
The video ends up stagnating as a result of low view duration, and when the video is searched for, YouTube is suddenly able to actually gain metrics on those viewers, and as a result, Ludwig's good content begins to push the video to the home screen. By promoting the content in this way, the experiment no longer is without using his own brand.
How would I get successful if I couldn't use my face, my voice, or any of my current following?
Using the exact same metrics as Ludwig, we can come to the exact opposite conclusion as his experiment presented. It only gets worse as we have to ignore the exponential growth that came as a result of promotion using a podcast with 500,000 subscribers and using his brand tied to an audience of millions. Looking at this chart before the 3rd, we can see that the video very nearly flatlined after Mizkiff's reaction. The numbers look pretty bad prior to this podcast, but Ludwig jumped the gun when he promoted it on there. If you look closely, you can actually see some views trickling in both from search and recommended. It is very possible that had he not gone on this podcast, the video would have seen a similar algorithmic rise, but we won't know. Instead, Ludwig would tell us that the video got 11,600 views because it was good content and admittedly a good way of getting it in front of his audience, all while omitting his branded promotion contributing to over a third of the views.
And all it came down to was good content, good thumbnailing, good titling, and also, admittedly, a smart way to get it in front of people who are interested in this type of content.
All of this might just be due to incompetence, as Ludwig is self-admittedly bad at math. Or it could be a conscious and intelligent manipulation of the habits and opinions of the masses to further a particular interest. But that's up for you to decide yourself. If you are interested in learning more about manipulation, then here's a video on how a psychopath thinks. Just remember that just because numbers don't lie, doesn't mean that someone can't lie with them.